Australia, the land down under, is experiencing a poker boom ignited by a native son and reigning world champion, Joe Hacham. Melbourne's spectacular Crown Casino plays host to the largest poker tournament in Australian history, boasting a prize pool of more than $3 million, with $1 million going to the winner. Recognized as one of the world's premier tournaments, the event has drawn the biggest names in the game from around the globe to compete with the best from down under and see who'll come out on top in the partypoker.net Aussie Millions. Well, the long hours have left some of the competitors punchy and others just not cold. American star Michael Grotz fell to Kathy Liebert and, like so many, took the lonely walk home. Tonight, the rowdy Kenna James returns, and he'll look to shake things up against Serbian Pro Nenad Medic. And the surprise of the tournament, Robert Neary. It's the partypoker.net Aussie Millions. And we welcome you back to the Crown Casino here in Melbourne, Australia. I'm Barry Tompkins, along with my partner, poker author Michael Konik. Let's take a look at the chip count at our main table. Nenad Medic is driving the bus right now. Over 713,000 chips, well ahead of Kenna James and Robert Neary. Joe Reyna at 269, 5. Phil Matthews and Mark Smithies rounding out the table of 6.
Lines are 2,500 and 5,000 with a 500 chip ante. Mark Smithies, with every orbit, is going to find close to 25% of his chips eaten up. He's going to need to scoot. On the other hand, Nenad Medic has a pile of chips, and every player knows if they get into a confrontation with him, they could go broke.
Kenna James bets 18,000.
And James has the unenviable position of being on the right of Medic. That means for almost every hand, the Serbian is going to act after him with a superior position. So James will have to tiptoe around that big stack.
Medic did call James with an 8-4. Ace, King, Jack. Good flop for James.
And there's nothing in that flop that Medic can really like. 3 overcards, none of his suit.
35,000 is the bet from James, and that'll be enough. Medic goes quietly away. Kenna James without the cowboy hat right at the moment, and also being very quiet right at the moment. Bonus coverage now. We're going to take you to one of the outer tables. Steve Hone is all in against Jerry Fitt. Fitt with a little pair, Hone with an ace-jack, pair of 5s and a 9 on the flop. 10, Fitt still with a big edge.
Hone will need an ace or a jack.
Last card is a 6.
And it is a 6, and Fitt will win. And Steve Hone is eliminated. He will wind up in 24th position. Does get a payday of over $18,000, so it's not all bad. Meanwhile, back to our main table. 6 players here.
4,000, Eddie.
Huh? Oh, look at, look at.
Kenna James offering his Dean Martin impersonation.
Yes, very good. Smithy's an ace-9 here.
And he needs, oh, you know, Barry, Smithies needs to get those chips in right there. He only has 40,000. He needs to shove them in, hope he can pick up the blinds, and if not, his ace-9, he's got to be willing to race with that hand versus just about anything. I'm not sure what he's waiting for.
18,000 to bet from Neary into Matthews 5 deuce. He'll throw that away.
James is in the big blind. He gets a discount.
One more, please.
Only 13,000 to see the flop. And
Jack,
he's got
Jack,
the best
deuce.
hand with the king 10.
Jack, Jack, deuce is what he is hoping for here. Instead, it's 2 trays and a 10. I don't think he would have wanted that jack had he known what Neary had in his hand.
That's a great flop for James. He checks with the intention of raising, I believe. Neary, a continuation bet. He raised before the flop, so he's expected to bet the flop. Kenna James is reaching deep. Big raise.
And 80,000 more of the raise from Kenna James.
And with no draw whatsoever, Neary will have to fold.
And Neary does fold, and Kenna James will take in these chips as well, and you can see Kenna James' stack grow.
I don't like my big blind being raised.
Well, Kenna James rolling right now. Took a little away from Neary there. Medic still the big dog, though.
There's our short stack Smithies. And he apparently wants to wait for the big blind to come around to him.
Here's a playable hand for Matthews. He's going all in.
I had a feeling that was coming.
I only got one move.
Medic, I'm sure, will challenge him.
Yes, Matthews is going to get called here.
That's not what
and it's
she
really
told
not
me.
a terrible position for the short stack, Matthews.
I might have to, Phil.
You don't have to.
I know I don't have to. I gotta.
57,500
I think I might have to, Phil.
I think Medic does have to. I mean, he's got all these extra chips.
I haven't finished my beer yet. You could at least let me finish my beer.
I don't think he will.
Well, I'm not sure what Medic really
I got the
fears.
chips, too.
He does have the extra chips.
I call.
And he makes what I think is a very easy call.
I think he'd intended to do that all along. I think he was just trying to give Matthews an extra sip on his beer.
And Matthews actually has a decent shot here.
On his spot,
It's
I would do
close
it
to a
with any
coin
two.
flip.
Well, almost.
And this is it for Phil Matthews. He'll need to spike a king or an 8 to stay in the Aussie Millions.
baby.
That's a good one.
There's
That's
an
a good
8.
I like that.
Medic will need one of the 2 red 7s. There it is! Oh my goodness.
Wow. Good playing with you.
And that's it.
That's all right.
So Matthews will take his beer with him, I guess. A traveler, if you will.
Take care.
See,
One more.
you I'm going to get in L.A.
Hey,
Nice playing with you.
leave the beer here.
No, I'm not leaving the beer. See you guys.
I'm not leaving the beer, he says. The partypoker.net Aussie Millions is brought to you by partypoker.net, the world's largest poker school. Welcome back to the partypoker.net Aussie Millions. Now let's take a look at this year's tournament. We start with 418 players, each putting up $10,000 for the buy-in. Total prize pool is over $3 million with a payout to the top 48 places. Hi again, everybody. Barry Tompkins, my partner Michael Konik, alongside Nenad Medic, a young guy with the chip lead. Question I have for you, Mike, is can he bully the field like a veteran would?
That's what he's supposed to do, Barry, but honestly, if you haven't been there before, it's pretty tough. When you have such a large chip lead, all roads are supposed to travel through your personal toll booth. The problem for Medic is he's got players like Kenna James there who know how to chip away at what seems like an insurmountable lead. Medic has one thing going for him, though. He's on the left of James, and he can use that superior position to his advantage. Should be a good match.
Well, he's got the toll booth. What he has to prevent is any free rides. 5 players at this table, and Medic with the big stack, Smithy with the short stack,
And Kenna James with a big hand.
Yes, indeed. Medic probably won't shy away from this hand.
Ooh.
Do you know what the big blind is?
It's 5,000, right?
You're
Isn't
crazy.
Isn't the big blind 5,000?
Yeah. Is that a legal race?
Medic is
He knows. He knows. He
making
knows what's
a
going on.
reference to what we would consider a little bit of an over raise here by Kenna James. Normally players raise 3 or 4 times the big blind. James has raised 7 times the big blind, and Medic lays down the ace queen.
What'd you have?
Huh?
What'd you have? Seriously.
Smithies just can't get
Can you
involved.
show if I tell you?
Yeah.
I had ace queen.
I mean, seriously, how good is this guy?
Wow.
I mean, seriously. I mean, it's driving me nuts, man. Really.
You're gonna make me puke.
If you make it less, I might re-raise. 35, I got nothing committed.
I was hoping, no, but I was hoping you'd look at his stack, right?
Yeah.
Knowing what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and then repop me.
Well, Nenad Medic is a guy who made the final table in his very first tournament and proves that this game of poker is indeed international.
I was born in former Yugoslavia, Serbia now. Moved in '88 when I was around 6, 7 years old. Moved to Canada. That's right before the war started over there, and we've been living a pretty good life in Canada. But I'm not that big on the money as I've talked to some of these players here. They're making a big deal. They just want to make like one jump to 6th place. 50,000 means a lot to them. I go every other summer or so back to Serbia, and then the average pay over there is $200 a month, and then kind of, I don't know, puts a perspective on the game. That plays a pretty big cash game. These big tournaments, $1 million prize pools, $4 and $5 million prize pools, and it's kind of tough going back there, seeing the way they live.
Pretty thoughtful guy, isn't he?
Yeah, and it really does put things into perspective. We're playing for big stakes, we're playing for big prestige, but it really is just a game.
Smithy's going to go all in with this ace-10.
It's kind of like a rerun.
He's been very patient, very reticent about getting his last chips in there, and the other players might want to give him credit for that. But James is not going to be able to get away from this ace-9. Mark Smithies has a great situation here, Barry. Assuming Medic, oh, another, oh! No, his great situation just got pretty rotten. I think Medic needs to just call.
He's going to think about it for a minute here.
Is it 39.5 total?
Medic already has 5,000 in the big blind, so 34.5 to call.
Yeah.
To see the flop.
I'm worried about you.
And what typically happens here, Barry, is
I want to say something, but I can't.
Two big stacks going against a short stack have an unspoken covenant normally at this stage in the tournament where they'll just see the flop, the turn in the river, they'll play soft, and they'll try to get rid of the small stack.
How can you ask for any more than that, huh? Seriously.
Might keep me going a little bit longer.
I check.
Kenna James, before the flop even comes out, says he checks, and Medic says he checks too. They've agreed to just show it down.
And a queen for Medic.
I check.
Well, no more friendly play here. Medic is not going to let Kenna James draw. I'm not sure what he's concerned about James drawing at. Perhaps a flush draw. This is for a side pot. Smithies, of course, can do nothing but watch.
All right. And he won't like it. James throws it away. And Medic will win the hand. He will eliminate Smithies in the process. So Smithies will go home, having finished third in that hand. 21st place and 18,000 and change. But quite a showdown, I think, between James and Medic. Medic adds to the big stack he already has. This is the partypoker.net Aussie Millions. Welcome back to the partypoker.net Aussie Millions. Barry Tompkins, Michael Konik alongside. We have a new player added to the mix here. Gary Benson at 210,000. Nenad Medic still the chip leader, and he is really the chip leader by more than 300,000 chips over Kenna James. Neary hanging around as well.
Blinds have been raised. 3,000 in the small, 6,000 in the large. Everybody antes 1,000, 14,000 in the pot before the cards are dealt. And that's something juicy to shoot at.
It's not cheap.
And I expect Nenad Medic, especially with cards like that, to start using that huge stack of 840,000 chips to put pressure on his table mates.
Benson with a 6-5.
And the one good thing going for the short stack Benson is that he's directly to the left of Medic. He gets to act after him
It ain't a clue.
on most hands.
He's going to call with that 6-5. Ace-8 deuce. Doesn't do anything for Benson.
With each checks, a bet probably would have taken down this pot.
And a 7 on the turn.
Benson picks up an open-end straight draw. Oh, and Medic is going to let him see the river for free. And he makes
caught
the
it.
straight.
Yep, Medic let Benson in this hand. 22,000 now the bet from Benson into Medic, who has got to feel like, I blew this one.
Well, really unusually passive play for a guy with so many chips. He let the short stack see all 5 cards for free. He let what was really a very weak hand back into a victory. Now, that 9 not only completes a straight, but it also completes a potential flush draw. Medic can't think his king high beats anything here, and I think he's going to have to fold no matter how many chips he has. He calls.
He does call, and he's going to lose at a pretty good pot this time for Gary Benson. Newest member of the table at 210,000 is going to improve upon that by a goodly amount.
Barry, that call was completely mystifying to me. All Medic could beat was a queen high, and I think he just sloughed off some free chips.
Gives us a chance to get away from our main table for just a moment, take it to one of the outer tables. Bill Argyros is all in against Lee Nelson. Argyros ace-9, Nelson pair of jacks with a big edge. To the flop.
Oh, there. And now Nelson will need a jack, otherwise Argyros will double through. 1 card to come.
It's another ace. So Argyros makes certain of it on the river, and that is a look of relief. So Bill Argyros will double up. Back to the main table now. 5 players here.
And Medic, the Serbian, seems like a really nice guy, but we've seen a little bit of weakness in his play. That last hand, he may not be accustomed to playing with such a huge stack, and he may not know what to do with so many extra chips.
Queen Jack for him, and he's looking at a pocket pair from Neary, pair of 8s.
He's in the small blind. It will only cost him 15,000 to call, and it will only cost that man, Joe Reyna, 12,000 to call.
He'll call with a 3-4.
Hoping that 3-4 makes him queen for the day, Mr. Reyna.
Has not done that yet. Pair of 6s and a 9.
Neary's 8s are still good. Medic has 2 overcards.
And bet 40,000.
Now Neary needs to raise here. Unless he thinks somehow Medic backed into 3 6s, he's got to think his 8s are good here. That's a really good flop for a guy holding a pair of 8s.
And it appears from that stack that he will bet it, and he does.
Raises it up 60,000 more. Joe Reyna will fold.
And now Medic, our chip leader, just lost a hand, good sized hand, a moment ago to Gary Benson.
Now, if Medic had some sort of draw to go along with his 2 overcards, he might want to play, but he makes the correct fold there, and Neary takes down a healthy pot.
So Medic gets away from that hand, wisely so. It cost him a little bit, but it didn't cost him a lot, as you said, and Neary adds to his stack. Neary's been hanging around for quite a long time and continues to do so. We're coming back. Welcome back to the partypoker.net Aussie Millions. We are at the Crown Casino here in Melbourne, Australia. Play continuing. Whole lot of money at stake. 5 players at our main table tonight. Nenad Medic is our chip leader, has been for a long time, but he has lost a couple of hands in a row. Joe Reyna, the short stack right now. Neary, the sometimes poker player, sometimes golfer.
Can't do it 3 times in a row, huh?
Medic has had the sometimes good, sometimes not so good situation of having decent hands to play and finishing second.
And Kenna James on the button consistently raises the blinds. He has a decent hand, pocket fours, but he's run into a pretty good hand in the small blind. Medic with the ace-10 calls, and Benson in the big blind. Well, he also calls. The small and the big blind get a discount.
On the flop.
Oh, great flop for Kenna James.
I'll say.
A set of fours. Benson has the nut flush draw. I could certainly see Benson going all in here.
30,000. See what Medic does. He's going to get out of the way, wisely so.
Benson is, I can't see him getting away here. I actually think he'll want to move all in. He's got middle pair and the nut flush draw.
And he's going all in. Into the teeth of that set of fours. And Kenna called him immediately.
7-3 favorite James, but Benson has very legitimate draw.
Not the hand you wanted to see. Huh?
No, I knew it was there too. Believe me, I knew it was either the 5 or the diamonds.
Saving my four was in front.
Hold on a second, please.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Don't do anything yet. I'm going to look outside.
Nice view,
All right,
Kenna.
go ahead. Torch.
James can't bear to watch. Well, we'll tell you what happens, Kenna.
Give me that water.
Neither can Benson, for that matter.
It's funny, a guy's a 7-3 favorite and he can't bear to look.
I'm as tall as the crown.
It's an 8.
You got it, I think, Kenna.
And that is good for
Are
James.
any black cards in the deck?
You got 2 of them.
Looking for a diamond.
Didn't happen. And Kenna James will eliminate Benson.
Good luck.
Benson will finish in 20th place, $18,829. Not a bad payday, but not nearly what it could have been.
Toughest player in Australia there.
Well, there's a compliment from Kenna James. Kenna James playing right now without the familiar and Cowboy hat, but he's loving it down here in Australia.
Look, I'm playing a game I love for a living, and I feel very lucky. So I'm naturally happy-go-lucky.
Hey! No, that's like, I'm telling you, that's like, you know, Bob.
I also try to bring the other players' defenses down and make them more relaxed.
2 guys walk into this bar.
He looks like he's from the Middle Ages, doesn't he? With that sweater?
When someone's relaxed, you can actually get better reads on the strength of their hands and really what's going on inside of them, what type of person they are.
All those chips you dusted off to me, I got them right here. I mean, they never think I have anything. What's going on?
It makes for a better game if everybody's relaxed and having a good time.
Just like you're playing at the kitchen table at home, isn't it? Huh? It's a lot of fun.
Just the fun of social interaction of what poker is supposed to be. And that's what I love about this game.
Barry, you'll be shocked to know that before Kenna James became a poker professional, he was an aspiring actor.
Don't forget you still owe me 2.
Actually, I would not be shocked.
Well, I'll take that 20,000 off that you called. What is it mine? 6,000?
And sometimes that camaraderie is a one-way thing when he's at the table.
Well, that stereotype of the poker player sort of being a dry, blank slate definitely doesn't fit Kenna James.
No, big personality in every respect, and a heck of a player.
And James and Medic seem to be hooking up a lot, and Medic consistently has the better hand.
It's me and you.
And here is the flop.
Great flop for James. He has the open-ended straight draw. Medic with the 2 overcards. If Medic makes this cheap, and he does, he checks.
And a pair. James will bet 25,000.
And I think James senses that his opponent, despite having all those chips, doesn't feel real comfortable. And James has made 2 pair. It's a small 2 pair. But Medic has not really shown any strength here.
Yeah, I think your point is well taken. I think James feels that even though Medic is the chip leader, he's reeling a little bit. And James will take this one down, and Medic will lose his 4th hand in a row in which he was competitive.
Oh, wow. King, we play a huge pot.
Really?
He's queen.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
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 Zoom. How about that, Ed? Ace, queen, 8, queen, 9. Just fit that 9 right in there, baby. Huh? You fit it in like a glove.
Well, he'll take it. Kenna James wins that hand. This is the partypoker.net Aussie Millions. More to come. Welcome back to the Crown Casino here in Melbourne, Australia. Barry Tompkins, Michael Konik. We are here in January of '06, the Crown Spa. Just one of the many gems in the Crown Towers. For those who crave privacy and relaxation, well, the Crown Spa offers suites that are equipped with a private jacuzzi, steam room, and a massage table. Leave the world behind at the Crown Spa. But if working out is your thing, well, then the Crown Gym offers a state-of-the-art facility, complete with a 25-meter indoor swimming pool. The Crown Spa and Gym, another jewel in the Crown Towers.
Yeah, I know what you had. Yeah. Wow.
I probably would have played a big pot on the turn,
of course,
even
of
if
course.
you.
And our 2 big chip stacks are still talking about the last hand.
You know, that was so much fun, I want to do it again. Huh? That was fun, baby.
You must have queen 9.
Well, you can't go to the well too often.
Fact is, he got better than that. 7-4-6, that's no help to either player.
Both players have overcards. James are better, and Medic better. If he continues to play this hand, he better hope a jack doesn't flop.
How could you bet that flop?
Because he thinks he has the best hand. And he knows he's playing against a guy who's a little weak at this point.
Yeah, reeling to be sure. And I think that has as much to do with it as anything else.
Sometimes you feel like you've got what sociologists might call psychological ascendancy over another player, where you just have, in colloquial terms, you got him dominated.
Nice.
And I think Kenna James is feeling that right now. Medic, all those chips sitting there on the left, really should be the table bully, the table captain, but Kenna James seems to have Medic's number, and he's not scared to get into confrontations.
We should get a heads-up table.
You know how many people want to play me heads up?
No, I'm just saying because...
That have gone broke? I mean, I wouldn't want to play you heads up anyway, but if we have to, we have to. You know what I mean?
Kenna James seems to be working Medic.
That it's not going to be easy.
Right, and he keeps telling Medic what a great player he is.
Put 2s and 3s out there, see what he
only
does.
to put him in the toaster.
Kenna James just working the room and working his opponent.
Wait, don't let him bet. I want to steal his thunder, give him the pot. Huh? He don't even get a bet. He doesn't even get a bet.
That was a fake reach.
I stole his thunder. Didn't even let him bet that hand. No, you got to take every ounce you can from these great players.
He is working him. There's no question about it, and it is working. Bonus coverage right now. We go to an outer table once more. Bill Argyros, this time all in versus Shannon Shore.
Argyros will need a 3 for a straight.
Can I win this tournament? Black 3 for the Aussie Millions. 3 clubs on the river, and there it is.
Well, not quite. Tried to do a little play-by-play, but didn't come up the way he'd hoped, and he is going to be summarily dismissed in 19th place, $18,829 payday for Argyros. And Shore winds up sticking around. We got a lot more to come, so don't go away. Welcome back to the partypoker.net Aussie Millions. They're brought to you by partypoker.net. the world's largest poker school. Barry Tompkins with Michael Konik alongside with Melbourne, Australia at the fabulous Crown Casino. 4 players at this table now. That's the short stack, Joe Hacham. Not had much to be proud of so far today.
15,000.
Kenna James makes yet another button raise, and yet again, our chip leader, Medic, finds a premium hand, ace-queen.
Every hand's a tough decision now,
I think he needs to re-raise her. He needs to take control of the hand.
It's like 2 dogs fighting over a bone with a little bit of marrow left in it, huh? You know what I mean?
And to borrow a phrase from a very good broadcaster, Kenna James is driving the bus right now. And Medic needs to take that steering wheel away.
Oh, yeah, you want somebody else in there, too, huh?
Yeah, and to use that analogy a little further, he's taking Medic for a ride.
Jack, Jack, deuce.
Jack, Jack, deuce is what he hopes.
Oh, and there's the ace. Medic should check here. James surely will bet. I mean, he's been raising every pot from the big blind, and James is trying to disguise the strength of his hand. Does Medic have the discipline to check again? He does. Now Kenna James surely will bet.
20,000. A little bit conservative.
I think James considers himself so far ahead, he doesn't want to lose his customer. I like Medic just calling here, Barry.
You got a deuce?
Is the deuce good?
I like to call a lot of hands.
I see.
I think Medic needs to stop talking. He's giving away the strength of his hand.
Yep. Yeah, he's losing the verbal battle.
I mean, when you say things like, is deuce good
deuce
there?
is no good.
Is a pair of twos going to take it down? Oh, that
goodness.
is brutal. Now James just needs to value bet here. He's run down the better hand. He's made 2 pair. He's got Medic trapped. How much can he get out of the chip leader?
Taking his time.
Thinking to bet?
I'm thinking about it. Should I?
You're trying to buy it? No, I know you're trying to buy it.
Would it work?
I might have missed the flush draw.
All right, I'm going to test it. 35,000.
I call. I got you. Oh, wow.
Send it. 35.
Wow, wow, wow.
Well,
sometimes I clap for myself.
Yeah, that'll make his opponents extremely happy.
Lee, that could have been a lot bigger. He called so quick, I could have probably bet 80,000. I lost 50,000 on that hand, and that's what you don't realize.
It's true.
80,000 I could have bet he would have called.
It's true.
I lost 50,000 in that hand. Son of a gun. That's all right. I'm not greedy. I'm happy. Happy that that 6 came. Holy cow. Huh? For sure he had like ace.
Barry, I can't question Medic's play there. He got unlucky on the river. I actually like the way he played the hand, but look what has happened.
We got a new bus driver. We got more to come from here in Melbourne. Don't go away. Poker.net, Aussie Millions. We're at the Crown Casino here in Melbourne, Australia. 5 players at our table. Barry Tompkins, Michael Konik telling you all about it from down under. And Kenna James has been working this table, and particularly working Nenad Medic. He is now our chip leader by 300,000 chips.
You guys won't believe me if I raise.
9-8 from Medic. Neri with a queen 10. Neri's been very quiet, but whenever he gets involved, he seems to win.
He's in the small blind. Certainly could raise here. He just decides to call. Lets Joe Hacham see the flop for free.
And here is the flop. Pair of 8s and a 3. Check, check.
First guy to bet here wins, Barry. Simple as that.
Hacham just not been able to get involved. And there's a check and another check. Ace of clubs. Checked it all the way down, and Neary will take it.
Glad I didn't raise my 8.
Not exciting, but effective. So Neary, as we said, every hand he gets involved in, he seems to win. He's really hanging right in there.
I have fun in this game.
It's a great game.
As long as I don't dust off $250,000 like I did to you downstairs. You want to change for that?
Looks like Kenna James has a little attitude adjuster in his right hand. We'll see if it affects his ability to do things other than deliver monologues.
Here's a hand that Reyna can get involved with.
Bryce.
See if that scares everybody off. Reyna's just not.
You know what? I've got a decent hand. Most people would call this hand, but you haven't won a pot in a while, and I think every man deserves a pot.
I haven't got a lot. That's something.
That's my name hand. I usually, Kenna James, KJ, I usually do well with it and against it.
Kenna James noticed that Joe Reyna has basically been completely uninvolved, so when he opens a pot, you've got to give him credit.
Let's see the chip stack of Kenna James. Not this time. Medic, a deuce 9. Medic is just not in any kind of a rhythm right now. He's going to play 18,000 on the button, and he's going to get contested.
Neary's in the small blind, the worst position after the flop. He could change that with a raise. Instead, he just calls.
Joe Reyna with a Jack-7 will call.
Cool. And what I mean by that, if Neary would have raised there, he probably could have put an end to the hand before the flop. Now, 3 players are going to see the community cards.
And here they are. 4 Queen King, a pair for Neary. He'll check it.
Now Medic showed strength before the flop. Will he make a continuation bet to try to continue to sell the hand? No, he says, my story's over. I'm not telling any more fibs.
3 of spades on the turn is of no consequence to anybody. Now Neary looks as though he'll bet this.
Joe Reyna has a flush draw. It's only the 7, though. He'll have to fold. As will Medic. I mean, Medic has nothing but a hand that you want to take down to the blackjack table.
Yeah, that's true. He has not been running well, and he does. He lays it down, and Neary will take home yet another one. So as we said, Neary, he doesn't get involved a lot. When he does, he seems to win. So Neary is just hanging in the pack as he has most of this event.
Playing with some of these top-notch poker players in the world, it's pretty surreal. You see them on TV, and you see them in the casino, and it's just crazy. But everybody only gets 2 cards, and everybody's got to play 2 cards, so you just hope to cut down on the edge.
And we're coming back. Welcome back to the partypoker.net Aussie Millions. Before we get back to the main table, we're going to take you to one of our outer tables, a little bonus coverage where Sam Youssef is all in against Jeff Seeley, and Seeley's sitting pretty here with a set of 5s, and that is going to do it. Youssef will be retired, and he'll get a paycheck, $25,000 and change. Not bad. He'll finish in 18th place. I would think he's got to like that.
This is the first time I play tournament in the main event, so I'm normally 5-card stud player. But I'm very happy with the result.
As well he should be. Wins $25,000. Normally 5-card stud player. That's pretty good. Couple of new faces at our main table. Antonio Esfandiari, and he's got $452,000 in chips, as you see. And Kathy Liebert is riding high at $641,000 chips. Strong table now.
Yeah, this table has just gotten very serious. Kenna James, who has been steamrolling the competition, is going to find a couple of roadblocks in his way.
Joe Reyna going to raise with a king-queen, raises $20,000. Kenna James calls.
Kenna James doesn't believe in a million years that his 8 high is the best hand, but he's trying to take advantage of his position and his chip stack, trying to flop something juicy.
Jack 8 queen, that helps Reyna.
James has picked up bottom pair, but if Reyna shows
40,000 is the bet from Joe Reyna.
Good value bet there. Kenna James has so many extra chips. He's going to call, hoping to spike a 7 or an 8.
It's a 5 on the turn.
Wow, and now James has a flush draw as well.
I'm all in.
And Reyna in that situation where there's really not much choice here. He's all in. He's got an edge, but James does have, as you said, that flush draw.
152,000.
152.
So it's going to cost
152.
James 152 to try to win approximately a 300,000 chip pot. Getting 2-1, as we can see, he's worse than 2-1. So mathematically, it's not the right call.
Got at least 14 outs, so I got a call.
Well, actually, Kenna James has 13 outs because one of the diamonds is in Joe Reyna's hand. But a lot of ways to catch up here. James will need a diamond, an 8 or a 7.
So he does have his chances here.
Oh, it is a 7. My goodness. Joe Reyna eliminated on the river.
Wow, and all he can do is shake his head and say, what are you going to do? And another great pot for our chip leader. Reyna, 25,000 and change.
Not that bracket over.
You ever lose?
No. Well, Kenna James is not losing now. There's no question about it. He is our chip leader. 16 players remaining. We started with a field of 418. That's a wrap for us for this time around from Melbourne. For my partner, Michael Konik, I'm Barry Tompkins. See you next time.